So it's been a while since I've filmed one of these. And in the true millennial pause fashion, getting started is always the hardest part. So, quick one today. I am going to show you how to design on Meshmixer a bleach model for like whitening trays. Basically, the reason why we do this in the way that we do is because when you're making a model for whitening, once upon a time you'd paint like a thin layer of this blue stuff on the model, and then you would make the suck down over that, and that would give you a little bit of space for the gel to sit up against the teeth. Nowadays it's harder. So we're going to open up the model. This is said model. So basically, it's like arts and crafts. We're gonna hit select, and then with your brush, that's really, really massive. I would size it down to whatever you're comfortable with. With upper teeth, I think you can go bigger. With the lowers, they're a little bit more fiddly. But then we are just going to paint. Doesn't have to be perfect, just roughly on the buccal surface to highlight where we want that reservoir to be. It's pretty exciting stuff. If you go outside of the line, hit Control, and then you can rub it out. Or you can also just go Control Z to get rid of the last step. Control Z is your best friend when it comes to CAD. And yeah, I don't really have a lot to add to this part. Oh, Control Z, there you go. See, stuffed it up. I am going to fast forward through this because you do not need to hear my yapping for the next 2 minutes. Two things just quickly. Say for example here, if you want to add, you can go backwards, that's fine. And then whenever it comes to whitening trays, when you've got gum recession like this, I would only do it so that it reflects what's going on in terms of the enamel crown, because root is not going to whiten. So for example, I wouldn't do that because you're going to end up here with gel on there, and depending on the gel type, that can be really, really sensitive, and your patients / dentists are going to hate you for it. I should say as well, so reason why I learnt this from Joran is I was attending his and Dr. Andrew Ip's 3D printing course. 2 days, all of the fundamentals of 3D printing. I was kind of like, I've never really actually been taught the fundamentals. I've just sort of figured it out as I went along, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And everybody who heard that I was going were like, oh, why would you bother with that? You don't need to. You know heaps about printing. Which is incorrect, because I do some pretty dumb things sometimes. But would highly, highly recommend any of their courses. They are such knowledgeable guys. Definitely go follow them. Honestly, I knew going to that course, they geek out on this stuff so hard that they would save me so much research time by just being in their presence, listening to them and asking questions. So it was amazing. Cool, so we've done our little painty. Now we're going to hit B on the keyboard. And you can see here how it's sort of created these somewhat smooth lines around the edges. That looks good. You can, look, I don't bother mucking around with smooth boundary, border, whatever. It's not an exact science when it comes to these bleaching trays, so that looks good. And you can see now it's got a little reservoir, but we now need to extrude said reservoir. So hit the extrude button, or you can hit D, whatever. makes you happy. And this is the time when you can pick the offset. So I would say typically somewhere between 0.3 and 0.5. I always lecture my patients about don't put heaps of whitening gel in because you're just wasting a lot of gel in that case. So I normally just go 0.3 because I'm telling them to put like the size of a match head into each of them. I'm going to hit accept, and you can see there how it's popped up off the teeth. Now you get like these little Easter egg colors around the edges. So what we are now going to do is getting close, and with my mouse just double click. Oh, that's not right, so go Control Z. Oh. I'm not very good at driving this 3D mouse. And we're gonna highlight all of them. Fuck's sake. There we go. Again, I'm going to speed this up because it's not really that exciting for you. Cool. And now for the final step, we're going to head to Deform or Control F and hit Smooth. And amazing. Look at that. Beautiful, smooth, supple. I was mucking around with this smoothness scale the other day because I thought, oh, it'd be good to make this like even smoother, more defined. And I was changing this scale. Don't do that because as you just saw, that's now puffed this out and increased that thickness. And that is not what you want because it then increases the volume of the space for the whitening gel. So just leave it alone. Don't mess with things that need to be not messed with. And then we hit accept, and then there you have it. That is your model for your 3D whitening, printed model. You can make it solid here in Meshmixer if you want. Me personally, I export it out, then I throw it into Blender for Dental because it's easier for me personally to put names on models in there and just to tidy it up, build it. And especially if you've got a few things going on in the lab, you want to know whose model is whose. So yeah,